This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in, everybody. We are here live with you on Cyber Monday. It is a fun event to be here from the Culver studio, and we are thrilled to have you on board for the next couple of minutes here as we get set for another week of the Meltdown. We are live with you every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We've got a lot to get to here today on the show, and I have some compadres with me ready to celebrate Cyber Monday in style, including Tyler, Lionel, Johns. Tyler, how you holding up here on this Monday?
Not well, not well. I forgot to take care of some things we needed to take care of before
Don't
the
worry.
show,
Don't worry,
and
Tyler. You've been busy online shopping. We all know this. You're
I
very
wish.
excited for today, and that's all
There we go. We got an overlay now.
great. Okay, now we're talking about it, so that's good. We've got EG here with us.
Yes.
EG,
Hello.
you are coming off of what was a very
I'm
exciting.
not kidding. Stuff just is. I'm getting rained on.
You're getting rained on?
It is raining dust in here.
That the slam put plaster into my lap.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's all good.
All right.
Let's do a hard reset here and let's talk about the Iron Bowl.
Yes,
Because you almost got,
please.
it feels like caught in a dust up there for the Iron Bowl.
Yes, I did. So that was fun. Hold on, my headphones are on backwards.
Is anything going right for us here on Cyber Monday?
Absolutely not.
Okay, we're getting
Absolutely
there.
not.
Okay,
Since
Getting
about
there.
6 a.m.
And we're back. We're
All
back.
right, okay.
This is fine. Okay. Yes, the Iron Bowl. So it was not as exciting as 4th and 31, but let me tell you, it was still a very good time.
Okay. Let's talk about the tension of the Iron Bowl
Yes.
because
Ooh,
it felt
Lord.
like there was tension going in, and then you saw that sort of escalate onto the field of play.
Yes.
Once again, not very close on the scoreboard for majority of the Iron Bowl,
No.
but it was very intense with
Yes.
a lot of back and forth between both sides. Two sides that don't really have a lot of fondness for one another.
Exactly, and I think that that was due to leading up to the game, there was a lot of chippiness on both ends.
Yeah.
On Monday, a week ago, things kinda got put into motion when some freshmen for Auburn started chatting and saying some things about Alabama, calling out players specifically.
Yeah.
I will mention DeMarcus Riddick, freshman linebacker, that said that Jalen Milroe would not be leaving the box this week and that he is faster than him. Quote, "I mean, he's fast, but not faster than me," along with Ryan Williams is not a big time player. Next day, Jalen Milroe is asked while he's in media, I'm standing in front of him, I did not ask the question, if he knew who DeMarcus Riddick was. What do you know about him? What are your thoughts? He proceeds to say, I do not know who that is. The internet finds pictures of them together on a recruiting trip. Always love when that happens. So there's a lot of energy coming into this game. So then Saturday finally arrives and you have warm-ups taking place. You've got the players walking the sidelines, Keldrick Falk walking past me going to the Bama sideline. You have the Bama players doing their walk and almost kind of meeting the Auburn players in the middle in a sense. And it got chippy. It got chippy on the field. And I wasn't really expecting that because I feel like a compliment to this rivalry is that it never really extends, aggressively in the field of play. Things are said for sure, but it's relatively a clean game. It was not. I was in the end zone, and I guess it was Malachi Moore that made the tackle, or it might have been Devonta Smith. I think it was Devonta Smith. He makes, the tackle. They go off onto the sideline, and we're watching, and they just kept going backwards and backwards and backwards, and then it's a whole full out brawl. So I run towards the fight, obviously,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
because that's what duty calls for. Yeah.
Exactly. I told Rita, I said, "Don't tell insurance that." And I got some of it on video. In a weird turn of events, Alabama got all of the penalties, and it was not on both sides, which I don't think Alabama fans were happy about that. Because of that, after the game, there was another skirmish where Xavier Brown and I can't remember the Auburn player were throwing the football at each other's heads. Did you see this?
I did not see that. No.
It was really funny. Taylor got it all on camera, and it's literally the Auburn player and the Bama player with the football throwing it at each other's heads.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they settled that dispute. It was a really tense weekend
Mhm.
between a lot of different rivals, but I
Yes.
hated it boiled over into the Iron Bowl to where emotions got the best of both sidelines at different
Mhm.
points. So I'm just glad you're back safe and sound.
Safe and sound.
Okay, well that is good to hear. And now Alabama has a sort of outside chance of making the playoff.
They're not dead
It's
yet.
improved now for them to have a chance to make the playoff.
Yep.
I don't know. After some of the losses that they've incurred this year, I'm just not sure they're a worthy competitor there in the top 12 field. But
I think much to the chagrin of most people, they do not want to see Alabama be Alabama again, you know what I
mm,
mean? I feel like we were just talking about Cinderella stories in football. Alabama could be the Cinderella for the playoffs and the fact that they squeak in and no one wants to see Alabama as a
yeah,
Cinderella. Let's just be honest.
yeah, I don't know if that is going to be the term that's used to describe Alabama in capacity when it comes to football. But I believe
Uh,
some of them refer to him as the ugly stepsister, but
yes,
not maybe
most do.
Cinderella. Okay, Tyler, you did not go to the movies this past weekend. Is that correct?
Nope,
Smart man.
didn't go at all. There's nothing new that I haven't seen yet. Unless I want to watch Bollywood movies, and I didn't want to put up with the crowds. So
Yeah, I think avoiding people this past weekend was a wise move, which sort of leads us into our big top story today. It is Cyber Monday, the shopping day for people
Yes.
that like to avoid other people. That's what Cyber Monday really promotes itself as being. Weekend sales online have transitioned into Cyber Monday, with Adobe Analytics expecting consumers to spend as much as $13.2 billion on this day alone after spending 10.8 billion online on Black Friday. That is 6.1% more than last year. This year's total Cyber Week sales are currently expected to cross over $40 billion
Ugh,
in
that's
sales.
insane.
Do you prefer, e.g., to shop online or in person?
In person, and as we're talking about this, I feel for, like, the small businesses and the brick and mortars because they get crushed by these things, and, like, you have the people that are complaining, "Well, I can find this cheaper on Amazon." Well, yeah, you can, but you're not getting the in-person customer experience, you're not getting the little boutique that smells good with the free mints on the counter. I try to shop in person when I can, there are certain things that I will purchase online, but majority of the time, if I can go in person, I will.
Tyler, do you prefer to shop in person or online?
I don't mind shopping in person, like if I need to try something on, but a lot of the stuff I buy is either just like not sold in stores around
Right.
here or
Yeah,
just
you
it's
know what you
limited.
like.
Yeah, I know what I like, and
Yeah,
I don't wanna go to the mall to browse. Every time I've gone to the mall, it's just a hassle, and even though they do have the new, like, sneaker store there that's got, like, a more consignment type stuff, uh, it's just a pain, and to EG's point, I do go in there and say, "Well, I could get this for, you know, such and such price on
Mhm.
eBay, such and such price on
right.
StockX," but I don't know. I don't really care about shopping in person anymore.
I've been trying to monitor
Yeah.
the deals that are out there, and there are some good ones, no doubt, depending on what type of item you're looking for. However, it does feel like Black Friday, not as important as it used to be, and a lot of these deals are what prices already kind of were on some things, and it feels like Cyber Monday's a lesser version of Black Friday even.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anything's really jumped off the page for anybody when it comes to deals today, but I mean, people are eating up the marketing technique of having that compulsory need to shop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like y'all have been fighting it at all, like having that need to go out and shop? Because, every major network is reporting on just sales going through the roof right now.
A little bit. I follow a lot of back to, you know, my obsession with sneakers and Supreme and everything else. I've followed a lot of sellers that will do auctions on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and it's tough for me to not watch that stream and be like, what can I pick up?
I hear you. Yeah,
But
it is something you got to fight against for sure. E.g., when do you typically start Christmas shopping, and when do you try to have it completed by?
It depends on who I'm shopping for that year. I feel like I kinda start thinking about it after Halloween. If there's something that just, like, jumps out beforehand or, like, maybe it's, like, July, like, I'll pick it up, but it has to be like, "Wait, this is perfect." So I'm observing often, but I will, like, pedal to the metal, like, today, probably. I have
I
some.
typically find myself shopping last minute for
Yeah.
almost everything.
Yeah, I like to be done probably the week before Christmas. Now, inevitably, the week of Christmas, I'm out and about, and that's fun to me. Like, I feel like the last minute shopping that you have to do, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you get your Starbucks, it's like kind of cold outside, and like you just like cruise around and like go to the stores. Do you really find anything? No, but you might. I like that. I don't wrap my gifts though until like morning of Christmas.
Let's get a chat check-in with Tyler here, who's got something for us from all of the chat that's participating. What you got for us?
All right, Charles is asking everybody if anybody bought anything good. Did you guys?
Um, go first, Tim.
I bought a keyboard.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I bought
nice.
a keyboard. It got delivered Friday night. I've been playing it. I can play Silent Night.
Wow.
I can play White Christmas.
Now, are you learning the keys or just memorizing them?
I'm memorizing the
Okay.
keys. I'm not learning the
No.
sheet music, and I have not. I have not
She
started.
shut you down so fast.
If it sounds the same EG, then it doesn't matter the way I do it. Okay. The point is that when I push the keys, the music
Yeah.
comes out. Actually, to be honest, the keys they light up to tell me which one to hit when too. So it's like one step further of making me feel emasculated. So thank you for that. No, I really thanks. I'm glad you went. You go first. Oh, by the way, I'm going to ruin you in a couple of minutes. So that's one.
I apologize.
You want your turn now? Go ahead and
No,
take your
no,
turn.
keep going. Is that it?
All right, so
I played
in the
Twinkle Twinkle
chat,
Little Star.
uh, Nick also bought a new keyboard, but he went to he said he only went to Staples, only place available in this backwards city, and then ended up getting it from Walmart online
What?
because it was $60 cheaper.
I've been trying to find a Staples here. Where is that Staples?
Is it down the road?
I think it's down the road
It's not on
if it's not
280.
closed.
I think it's closed.
Oh, it might have closed.
Oh, anyways.
Well, we'll talk about it more off the air, but
Oh,
I'll find you a Staples
Okay,
at
thank
some
you.
point. I taught my daughter the Halloween theme. Dun 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 dun
Uh-huh.
dun dun. And that was a mistake because
I
she's
know.
played it nonstop for she played it nonstop on the keyboard. So I thought I'll put the keyboard away. Well, then we go to my mom's
does she
house.
know it or has she just memorized it?
I just I made up fake things to teach her.
Yeah.
So I was like, "You see how these 5 keys are together?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Okay, so it's 411, 411, 4116." And so my wife is just yelling the entire time throughout the week, 411, 411, 4116, and then my daughter's playing it.
Yeah.
So we go to my mom's for a Saturday get together with family, and my daughter goes to her piano and starts playing it.
Nice.
But in front of everybody, and they're like, "Oh, it's cute" for the first like minute, and then like 7 minutes in,
You're
it's
like,
like you got to
okay.
stop.
Yeah.
And then like 15 minutes in, it's like, "Do you know anything else?"
No.
And then 20 minutes in, it's like the song isn't even scary anymore for its original intended purpose. It's
Yeah.
just stuck in our brain.
Psychological warfare.
But she just kept doing it over and over and over again. So it was less Halloween, more Children of the Corn. But anyway, that's my story.
Okay. Well, I will share a purchase that I think people might like. Have y'all heard of the Hatch alarm clocks?
The Hatch alarm clock?
Is
Yes.
that the egg one?
No.
Oh,
So it's an alarm clock that it actually makes a lot of sense, and I am a fan. It gradually lights up your room to emulate a sunrise, and it plays tunes that are less jarring that helps you kinda, like, wake up instead of, like, jarred awake by an alarm. It has changed how I wake up. Like, I actually believe in it, and they're having good sale, and so I did pick that up for someone's Christmas gift this holiday season.
Okay.
Yeah.
hmm.
Well, I hope that that person never sees this so
I
that way
know.
they're a little bit more surprised when they open it up.
I do too.
Okay. Was it for me?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Let's see. Say Bear wants to know if Black Friday will go the way of Blockbuster. Also says that wasn't the right melody for the Halloween theme.
Say
Wow.
Bear, it dun 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 dun
Dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun.
dun. Yeah, that
It's,
works. I'm not gonna
I
fight
mean,
Saber on
it's a
this.
higher pitch, but I think the pitch it is wouldn't be picked up by our mic
Well,
There we
anyway.
go.
So
I saw on TikTok this lady offering free singing lessons via TikTok, so I have, like, been following along. So I'm learning about melodies right now.
Okay. Well, I'm glad Saber was like an actual musician
Oh,
in
really?
college. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think he played in the Georgia Tech band,
Oh,
if I'm
that's
not
cool. He went to Georgia
mistaken.
Tech?
Yeah.
Oh, go Jackets.
So I love that he's here giving us his musical, theory, but I'm not really
Expertise.
asking
he
for it.
did say he can teach you the Batman '89 theme if you want.
Yeah,
I
that's
would I
cool.
would like that as long as the keys light up and tell me exactly what to play. But I'm a novice and I'm sharing my journey with everyone.
A
And I
lot.
feel like I'm now some sort of medieval artist getting fruit thrown at him in the town square, and I don't appreciate that, but that's just my opinion.
Have you ever thought about who your family was during the medieval times? Because
You
they were there.
Yeah, I have.
I've thought about this. There's some caveman somewhere that didn't get hit by a boulder, like moved out of
Yeah.
the way,
Yeah.
and it saved me, and here I am doing a show on the internet. They would never know what that
Isn't
was.
that crazy?
And like they ended up avoiding being trampled by some sort of woolly mammoth.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm walking around looking like one.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird to consider like what were our families all doing in 1820 or like 16, well, 1820 is kind of too recent.
Yeah,
Let's
1820
go
wouldn't be what we're
like
looking at here.
1500s of like the medieval kings and queens.
No.
What were they They were up to something,
Yeah.
and it brought us all to here.
And what was going on in their lives was very important at the time. And now
Yes.
no one even knows what it was.
And no one knows who they are.
So, like,
What are we doing?
will our ancestors watch this episode 2,000 years from now and
Yikes.
be like, whoa, we're descendants
Of the
of these
meltdown.
people that were so insanely popular that they had,
Yeah.
very novice musical instruments that they would play.
I know this is off topic, I apologize. In 2000 years, do you think it'll look more like our reality now or more like the
Stone Ages.
1400s, Stone Ages?
I full Stone Age.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
it's the old I think it was Einstein that said it. It's like World War III will be fought with nukes, but World War IV and V will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah.
Let's hope we're not close to any of that. Let's just.
Ugh.
How did we go from Cyber Monday to World War III so quickly? Okay.
It's because
Um,
Y2K comes out this week. No? Okay.
you're very excited about this, and I don't
Fine.
want to take away your excitement, but I'm telling you, almost nobody knows what this is.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Like,
I
it's
know.
okay to be excited, but you've made multiple references just today about this. And I'm still a little irritated with AMC locally here that I can't find a showtime that works for my schedule for not only Y2K, but I wanted to see Juror number 2 today. Can't go do it because I've got other obligations. And if they just had an appropriate mid afternoon screening, I would have been able to sneak that in, but it's not going to happen. So you're catching a little bit of that heat, and that's not fair to you. But I wish Y2K wasn't showing in the
I mean,
7 o'clock range.
I think 7 o'clock is a perfectly fine time to
What?
see a movie. I think
No.
that's
It
the normal time.
I'm turning into an old man. I want to see all my movies at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
is Y2K like, is it a scary movie or is it
It's supposed to be like a comedy horror about like a high school party that happens New Year's Eve 1999, and then just sort of the Y2K tech
craze?
trash
Uh-huh.
happens, and then it's an apocalypse kind of movie, a horror movie where DVD players are out to get you.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Y2K was a crazy time because you really didn't know what was going to happen that night. I remember I was at my sister's apartment watching The Sixth Sense.
Oh, what a movie to be watching during that.
Yeah, I was watching The Sixth Sense for the very first time, and I like to think that I remember back that I felt like I knew what the twist was before the movie. Now I hadn't heard anything about it because kids my age weren't watching The Sixth Sense. But I feel like I figured out the twist because I kept wondering, like that opening scene, like, are they ever going to
Mhm.
explain what happened with that? Like, and so I didn't like The Sixth Sense from the get, pretty
Okay.
much. I was not a big fan. And then on rewatches, I think it only gets worse.
I agree with that.
Is this
But
a one-timer, like, you watch it once and
yeah.
it's like, okay.
So if in the movie Y2K, they're talking about The Sixth Sense, or there's like a VHS of The Sixth Sense or anything like that,
There's a VHS of Varsity Blues.
if there's a Sixth Sense, I'm going to give it a lot of credit for having basically replicated what my Y2K was like. So there
Interesting.
we go. All right, real quick here. I want to remind you about our good friends at Alabama Dental Associates. We encourage you to reach out to the dental team that we trust most, located on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental. They provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health, whether you have that nagging toothache that you discovered throughout the Thanksgiving holiday or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings. They're there for you. Maybe you're new in town and you need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself, as they're accepting new patients and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205 956 8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. All right. I want to get into the box office because it was a bonanza of dollars with the movies that were being offered. Obviously, as Tyler mentioned, we have seen most of the fare at the theater, but it was very, very top heavy. We had questioned about what would come in that fourth spot this weekend.
Oh, yeah. What'd you say, Red One?
I said Red One.
What'd you say, Bonhoeffer?
I think I said Bonhoeffer.
You did,
Let me
okay.
let me check on that.
It was Red One. Red
Ah,
One.
that makes some more sense.
That came in third place, and I'm sorry, fourth place, and it should come in fourth place with a $250 million production budget.
Yeah.
But that is not the story here. The big story is another rock feature, and that is
Moana 2.
Moana 2. It was a situation where Moana was scheduled to be basically a television series. They were going to spin it off into a TV series for Disney Plus, and they said, you know what, we're probably leaving a lot of money here on the table. Let's go ahead and make it a feature. And that bet worked out for them as Moana 2 was able to once again smash the records of Frozen 2. It's the best 5-day opening ever for an animated movie with 389 million worldwide. It's the second highest opening weekend of the year to date, behind only Deadpool and Wolverine. Moana 2 may become the third billion-dollar grossing movie for Disney in 2024, along with Deadpool and Wolverine and Inside Out 2. So it's been a good year for the House of the Mouse at the Cineplex after what was a couple of recent flops and struggles for them, especially in Disney animation. But the IP is well known by people, and while I think the story is very hollow and thin, the experience is one that I think a lot of kids are going to enjoy in seeing Moana 2.
Interesting. I wanna
Uh,
go see it.
yeah, I'm looking at Box Office Mojo right now. So I saw Red One came in fourth place, like you said, 18 million, and I said, hold on, let me make sure I've got the dates right. Yep, that was for the 5-day weekend.
That was
18.
that was for the 5-day weekend. The 3-day, I believe, was 12.9 or close to 13. So, it's
That
not killing it.
that's bad. It's grossed 76 million off a $250 million budget.
Yeah.
So not great returns
Yeah.
for Red One there.
That's domestically $150 million globally and still going to be a long-term gamble for Amazon as they plan to throw it on the streaming service. What are you eating, EG? What is that?
She looks like she's got some gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Those aren't very good. I'm just going to be completely honest with you.
These are my favorite because me personally, I don't like a soft gummy,
Yeah.
and these aren't soft.
No, they're not. They'll crack your teeth, which is why
Mm,
you
crack
need
your teeth.
Alabama Dental Associates. Our friends at Alabama Dental. Anyway, we've
The
already talked about
these are
Alabama.
the best ones. And would you like one? Wait,
No,
it's
I don't want
okay.
one. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
Tyler, would you like one?
I'll try one. I've never tried one of the sour
There's
ones.
better gummy options out there than
I'm gonna give you
these.
my favorite flavor. I don't do this often.
Oh,
Green's your favorite?
hmm
I think red's the best, but
let's see
Green
here.
and red together is the best.
glad we're doing a taste test here. What do you think,
Pretty good
Tyler?
gummy bear.
You like that?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Awesome. Well, green reminds me of the second place movie, which is Wicked,
Wicked.
as our out of the theater reaction continues to still soar with people,
Good.
even to this point, with me doing my flying monkey impression, going
Mhm.
down the hallway, and Brian Pavlik decked out in all green, and you wondering what you're doing with your life to be a part of this crew going to see this movie, and
That-
Tyler wondering why he went to go see the movie in the first place.
And that really fits the vibe I think we captured.
Yeah, I think it was all right there on the screen.
That gummy bear was better than the movie.
The
Wow.
Universal
It's a good gummy
Pictures,
bear.
the musical brought in $117.5 million over the 5-day weekend, pushing its 2-week global total to 360 million. Not accounting for inflation, Wicked is now the highest grossing Broadway adaptation, passing Grease.
Wow.
If you were to take the inflation numbers and associate it with Grease, then it would be a near billion-dollar film. That's how popular Grease was when it came out.
To me, it's more impressive, and I know people have different opinions on this. It's more impressive for how big those movies were back then because the internet didn't really exist, especially for Greece. Like that was all word of mouth. I feel like now, especially with like artists and stuff, like Taylor Swift. Yeah, and I'm a Taylor Swift fan, but like largely when you people compare like Michael Jackson, it's like Michael Jackson did not have streaming, and like that many people knew his songs, knew who he was buying his albums, or going to concerts. That's really impressive to me.
Yeah, there's no doubt. What Michael Jackson did have though was a captive audience on MTV.
Mhm.
As when his music videos would come out, it was
Yeah.
an event there, and I think the thing I see the most on the internet is people saying, "Oh, MTV back when they used to play music videos," or
They have they made music videos for like 2 years.
yeah,
Like, they pretty quickly pivoted into TV.
yeah. I mean, it's been no doubt TV ever since, but you constantly see those arguments online. Gladiator 2 dipped 44% from its opening weekend, which is a really good hold, but we kind of knew it was going to play that way as Ridley Scott's sequel to his Oscar winning Best Picture original collected $44 million in its second weekend. But once again, this is a film that cost $250 million to make, probably cost 100 or 150 million to market this movie. It's earned $320 million worldwide. Don't forget theaters get a cut of the grosses too. So it's going to have to really keep churning in order to get into that profitable margin there. Those three films, Moana 2, Wicked, Gladiator 2, combined for $420 million in overall Thanksgiving weekend ticket sales, more than 100 million than ever before. And it was a record, that 420 million. So very top heavy at the box office. Venom The Last Dance continues to do well. Globally, it's reaching that $500 million mark. And then The Wild Robot is still in the top 10, $321.6 million global haul altogether. It's there in the ninth spot. And then one of our favorites of the year, A Real Pain, continues to hold on there in that 10th spot and is a movie that we would both recommend for the performances, the writing, and the direction. I think this is a movie that I can really get behind going into the award season.
Definitely, definitely, and I think the fact that it is holding that well just speaks to what kind of movie it is. It's one that, at first glance isn't gonna be, this big popcorn movie, this big event movie you've gotta go see.
Right.
But when somebody tells you, "Hey, you need to check this out," people listen, and then they go to the theater, and then that cycle continues. Couldn't recommend that movie enough. I think we both got it. I've got it in my top 5 of the year so far. I'm pretty sure
I
you do as
I
well.
think it's in my top 10. It's a movie that is very similar to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, including there's actual planes, trains, and automobiles in this, all three.
All 3 were included.
All three are included, but it's a little bit more dramatic. It's more on the dramatic side. There's a part of the film that really it's just very quiet the way it's shot and it resonates really well. So we recommend that movie for sure, A Real Pain there with Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. We've also profiled and previewed all the upcoming December movies because it is going to be a month full of theatrical releases. They're going to have people talking, especially for the next few months leading into award season. And I came up with my list of 6 movies I'm looking most forward to this season, this December, for the remainder of the year. Tyler came up with his list of what December movies he's looking most forward to seeing, and we'll see how those stack up as we check them off of our list. A lot of those coming out on Christmas Day. So you have a chance to check out that video and become fully aware of what we'll be talking about here for not only this month, but also leading in to the new year. I was really excited about that conversation, Tyler, and I really like both of our lists, and I'm excited to see if they pay off for us.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was anxiously awaiting that conversation because I knew you were gonna have some stuff that I wouldn't have on my list, and I knew I was gonna have some stuff that you weren't gonna have on your list, and we get to just share it with each other and see what lines up. Some of it did, spoiler alert, and, get to see, what's got each other excited for the next month.
Absolutely. So we lay out there why it excites us and what to look forward to with those movies. Make sure you check that video out. We always appreciate those thumbs up for sure. All right, let's talk about one of the big entertainment events happening today. The first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew, the latest Star Wars project, premieres tonight, Monday, December 2nd, on Disney Plus. The series stars Jude Law, John Watts, and Christopher Ford are the head writers and also serve as executive producers alongside Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, and Colin Wilson. Skeleton Crew follows the journey of 4 kids who make a mysterious discovery on their seemingly safe home planet, then get lost in a strange and dangerous galaxy, crossing paths with the likes of Jod Nanawood, the mysterious character played by Law, finding their way home and meeting unlikely allies and enemies will be greater adventure than they ever imagined. First reactions so far have been pretty positive here, but there's no doubt who they're trying to target here with Skeleton Crew. As we're going to get to some of those early reactions here, Phil Roberts tweets out, John Watts' Skeleton Crew is a blast. This series effortlessly captures the spirit of the Goonies to deliver a fun, kid-centric Star Wars adventure. It's an energetic, fun story that expands the sandbox with its light-hearted tone. Great score, great performances, solid start. Tyler, you have grown out of love with Star Wars, but you are very much in love with The Goonies. It is one of your favorite movies, if not your favorite movie of all time. It's in the running.
Mhm. Yep.
Does it excite you to know that this Jude Law project has the same sort of essence that The Goonies does? Is that enough to get you to subscribe to Disney Plus and watch along with this Star Wars Skeleton Crew show?
I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept for a Star Wars show. I might check it out, but I don't know. It's gonna take a few good projects in a row to get me fully on board with anything Star Wars. Without having a lot of people test it before me. Uh, I'm just confused on where this fits in the timeline, why it exists. You said the main character's name was like Jod Nanawood.
That is
What?
correct.
What?
Uh,
Who is he?
Jod Nanawood.
No, 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 no.
That's sort of EG. You're close
Close
there.
enough.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah,
more or less what Tim said.
Jod Nanawood.
No.
More reactions. Thomas Story says the first two episodes of Skeleton Crew are a lot of fun. This series brings a refreshing perspective by expanding the Star Wars universe in exciting new ways. It's a love letter to children's adventure films from the 80s. So there's a running theme here. I think Smuff was in the chat saying, so this is basically Star Wars Stranger meets Stranger Things. And that's the way it's kind of being spun off here, is it is that. It is a play towards those Stranger Things young fans that want to maybe get into Star Wars, and that's the play that they're going for here with this.
We somehow have a Stranger Things inspired Star Wars series before Stranger Things even ends.
That is
Still
correct.
waiting on that
When
last
is that
season.
ending again?
It's just,
I'm gonna
they're
say
working on the last season. I think
I'm,
it comes out next year.
I'm not a Stranger Things fan,
I'm not either.
so I can't tell you for sure, but I will tell you that it's long overdue, the ending of that show, and I think that those kids are now 40 years old.
I could never get into it.
I wasn't big on Stranger
I
Things.
tried so hard and it just seems stupid. Sorry.
Well,
That was kind
yeah,
of aggressive.
there's a lot of fans of it. Let's see.
Apologies.
Here we have Nicola Austin saying the first two episodes of Skeleton Crew are so much fun. Think 80s Amblin adventure vibes with a sprinkle of early Mando. The first episode admittedly takes a while to kick into gear though. I would genuinely do anything. Poor Neil, what an absolute cutie. So anyway, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of people talking about the 80s vibes that come into this series, and there's no doubt that Star Wars needs a hit. If you missed it, we had a big conversation about whether or not the new trilogy they've announced, cinematic trilogy, whether or not it will suck. We have a big Star Wars discussion there, but Star Wars needs to get back into the win column, especially after what hurt us all so much in The Acolyte, which had so much promise and hope. And I knew within the first like 3 episodes we were in for an all timer, but in the opposite way. And those first 2 episodes I thought were like, okay, let's see where this thing goes. And then it was just disappointing turn after disappointing turn. Horrible acting, writing. It's just overall, it's really, really bad.
The writer lady that we don't like, Kathleen.
Well, the producer, the executive producer, Lucasfilm, that oversees Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah, so she did the Acolyte.
Well, she oversaw the production from a managerial standpoint. She's basically like the GM of Lucasfilm.
Interesting. But she's on this project as well with the new.
Correct. She oversees every Star Wars project that comes into existence. And a lot of times what happens is she'll make a new hire. So think of it very much in a sports way of like she's always hiring the next coach. And she continuously hires people that she never sees to the finish line with on projects. And it's like so many creative dust ups that lead to no content that's been promised. And cinematically, Star Wars has stalled out since 2019's Rise of Skywalker. We have not had a Star Wars movie since 2019. And this is a franchise that I believe Disney paid $4 billion
Holy cow.
for.
Oh,
And
another Star Wars movie got taken off the slate. I'm not sure if you saw.
was it the Rey movie?
I think so. I think so. Now the only one in development is the Mando and Grogu one.
Yeah. It's not been good for Star Wars fandom, especially cinematically.
So why can't we get rid of Kathleen?
It's a great question. She's one of the all-time greats when it comes to producing cinema. But as the head of Lucasfilm, she is just it's not the right fit. And she was sort of George Lucas's hand-picked successor to run Lucasfilm. But that ship has sailed, and you would think after what have been disappointments not only with Star Wars but Indiana Jones as well, that Kathleen Kennedy's time would have run up. But she must have a dial of destiny or something because she keeps turning back the clock and she's able to somehow survive wave after wave after wave of disappointment. And I don't think that this is going to be something that people are going to be holding on her permanent record positively or negatively. Skeleton Crew. I don't think it has those type of stakes. I think it very much is trying to get younger fans interested in Star Wars, maybe as an entry point for a lot of younger fans who are at home streaming content. But if they don't produce a film that has any sort of emotional connection from the fans that are already Star Wars fans soon, you would think Kathleen Kennedy is eventually going to be run out of town. But why not already? That's a great question, E.G.
Well, I looked up Kathleen Kennedy, just typed her name in, and a day ago, this was posted. Is 2025 the year that Kathleen Kennedy finally falls down? With all the recent articles of cancellations of projects, people saying how and incoherent Lucasfilm has been, with more to happen, Lucasfilm could probably have a lot more losses than gains within her projects. With that being said, will Kathleen Kennedy finally fall and get fired from Lucasfilm? Just speculating here. Someone said, once she gets fired, maybe my dad will call me and tell me he loves me.
You know, in Return of the Jedi, your favorite Star Wars movie ever made, I believe, Tyler,
Yeah.
that at the end when the Ewoks are celebrating the fall of the Empire,
Yeah. Of
that's the
course.
way a lot of Star Wars fans are going to be celebrating when Kathleen Kennedy gets the boot finally.
Oh yeah.
And
Definitely.
I'm going to be one of them. I'm going to be pretty excited about whatever the future of Star Wars is.
You're gonna be playing the drums off of a helmet.
That is correct. Who are they going to put into that role? Because I'm not sure there's anybody under the current umbrella that I would choose to helm that. I don't have a lot of faith in John Favreau and Dave Filoni because a lot of the stuff that's getting produced is kind of going through their
Yeah.
arena too, and it's not getting checked at the door. And we got to see if they can continue to drain the life out of all the goodwill that they built up with the Mandalorian and produce a film that people care about. Because I'm not too hyped about it. I loved Mandalorian season 1 and season 2, but I kind of feel like that was a moment, and I'm not sure there's much more to tell from that story that'll be captivating. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the film will be amazing.
I mean, I would still look forward to that movie just because I like those characters. Um, but yeah, I just don't see where they're going from here. They really need to do the same thing that DC has done and just pick one auteur with a singular, clear vision and ride with them until the end. Whether that train goes fully off the tracks and crashes in a blaze of glory, or you get to your destination safely and happily, you got to ride it out because otherwise you get this
Yeah.
sort of just muddy tone of what every story's supposed to be and a lack of continuity.
Well, let's hope it works for DC because James Gunn has been tasked with that, and he's going to have a
Well,
lot of people looking to see him fail.
that's true, and I meant more towards the more so the Matt Reeves epic crime saga, whatever he's
Yeah.
calling that.
Okay.
But yeah, James Gunn definitely has that challenge.
Yeah. James Gunn is going to either get the win or the loss on DC as a whole. For Batman, obviously, they've handed the keys over to Batman to Matt Reeves right now, but there's going to be other Batman iterations under James Gunn too.
Mhm.
It's really James Gunn is the Kathleen Kennedy of DC, and we'll see how well that experiment goes too. I'm really hopeful for the James Gunn era for sure. Denis Villeneuve, you know, maybe the director of one of your top 3 films of the year in Dune Part 2?
Top 2.
Top 2?
Top 2. Love Dune Part 2.
Did you see Denis Villeneuve and what he said about Star Wars recently?
I believe so. Think no, my bad. I saw another interview that was with somebody about Denis Villeneuve
Okay, well,
this
you're
morning.
not gonna like this, so
Oh
just
no.
brace yourself
All
here.
right.
Denis Villeneuve says Star Wars got derailed
Ooh,
by Return of the Jedi,
Oh,
wow.
and the franchise became crystallized in its own mythology. It seemed like a recipe, no more surprises, saying, quote, "The first one went to my brain like a silver bullet. I became obsessed with Star Wars. I mean, The Empire Strikes Back is the movie that I anticipated the most in my life. I saw the movie a billion times on screen. I was traumatized by The Empire Strikes Back. I adore Star Wars. The problem is that it all derailed in 1983 with Return of the Jedi. It's a long story. I was 15 years old, and my best friend and I wanted to take a cab and go to LA and talk to George Lucas. We were so angry. Still today, the Ewoks. It turned out to be a comedy for kids."
Wow.
That's what Denis Villeneuve thought about Return of the Jedi. He sold his Star Wars stock all the way back in 1983, back when people thought, oh, it doesn't get better than this trilogy. And then here we are all these years later, still having a conversation about what it's going to take to get Star Wars back to becoming a mainstream property that adults can also enjoy. And I don't know what it's going to take, but it ain't there right now.
I mean, was this is gonna be a hot take.
Go for it.
I
Oh,
can tell.
here we
Give it
go.
to me.
Wasn't Star Wars kind of for kids to begin with?
Well, Denny makes the argument that it was not that way until Return of the Jedi. The Ewoks cemented it as that. And I can see that argument.
Really? This is interesting. I always assumed it was for kids.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm a grown man that likes Star Wars EG, and I appreciate
I
you.
like Harry Potter. That's for kids.
Well, I got it, but I
Hey,
think
that's for young adults, CG.
I think remember this, Tyler, to your point here, that these people who are critical about Star Wars being just for kids, almost all of them absorbed it first as a
That's
kid.
that's what I'm
No,
thinking.
no,
So
I'm not saying it's a
yeah,
bad thing that it's for kids if it's I mean if it's hitting a general audience, kids will like it.
yeah.
But I don't know. I do see a lot of people put think too much emphasis and stock into the meaning of Star Wars and mythology of it when George Lucas was just trying to entertain some kids
Can
and
they
also rip off Dune.
can they make an adult Star Wars series or movie that says, much like Michael Jordan, them kids, like who cares?
What
Like just
wasn't that
make it
what
for
the
them.
acolyte was supposed to be?
It's the way it was
Not to
sort of,
me.
That was how it was marketed to me.
I know, but it was wrong. It was a lie. It was a deceit.
All right, try again,
It
Kathleen
feels
Kennedy.
weird to like again, that's just my perception. It'd feel weird to have like an adult Star Wars. It seems like kind of I don't know.
I have a Star Wars blanket on my bed at home, EG, and I have Star Wars bubble bath, and I don't appreciate you coming after me this way with this intensity.
Like after you with any intensity. But you watched
By the
Star
way,
Wars.
I lied about that. I don't have Star Wars bubble bath.
Oh,
Can you imagine me trying to take a bubble bath?
yeah, that
That
wouldn't
would be
work.
that would be
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Big bath.
That's a big bath. Anyway,
Um,
A lot of bubbles.
I just I don't know. I feel like you watched as a kid, so you have an attachment to it, but it was for you as a kid.
by the way, Justin throws in Andor as being that thing that's sort of made for adults, and I think you're probably exactly right, Justin. I just don't give a crap about that story. Okay, give me like mainstream Star Wars where it's like not like a B level character that I don't care anything about. Give me something mainstream. That's all I'm saying. Andor, nobody really watched Andor. The people who watched it, they can't stop
What
talking about it,
Yeah.
but nobody watched it.
what make okay, this is my question of the day. What would make Star Wars adult to y'all? Do y'all want like the lightsaber to cut the head off and you see the blood?
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to.
Uh,
No, absolutely
well,
not.
I don't know. Like I'm what are you wanting?
What I want is a property that takes itself and the audience seriously enough
Okay.
to feel like you really do have that balance between light and dark in a
Uh-huh.
way that is a tug of war at the heart.
Okay.
And the Acolyte promised to be that. And
It did.
it was far from it, but it promised to be that. And now we're getting a series with Skeleton Crew that is meant to go after very much on purpose,
Them
10-year
kids.
olds.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. I like the fact that kids are going to be able to jump on and potentially enjoy Star Wars. But There's no doubt the prequels focused more in episode 1 with Jar Jar Binks being used as that sort of kid magnet to bring in younger audiences to enjoy it as a kid flick, while something more sinister eventually built up in episode 3. And I think most adult fans would say they preferred episode 3 over episode 2 or episode 1 because of those adult
Yeah.
themes of like friendships being destroyed and trust being destroyed and
Okay.
political maneuvering in a way that wasn't necessarily about tax code, which is what we got in, episode 1
Oh man,
and episode 2,
that took
like,
too much time.
yeah, it's like everyone's so hyped up to see Star Wars. Oh, we're talking tax policy
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Naboo.
we're talking trade
Right,
tariffs.
we're talking
Lord.
trade tariffs. It's like, not a hot topic there. But by episode 3, I think episode 3's aged the best with you feeling the weight of a relationship breaking down. And I want to see that sort of thing again. I want to see stakes. I want to see characters that are really conflicted. And maybe I just need to go home and watch Andor. That's
See,
probably exactly what I need to do.
weirdly enough, I think the Star Wars property that's done that the best, at least to my memory, I haven't seen Andor and Ahsoka yet. Um, is the Star Wars: The Clone Wars cartoon made for Cartoon Network.
Mhm.
I that takes all of those political themes that are established in episode 2, episode 3 and
Right.
just runs with them, and it gets pretty dark for a kid show, and I think that's probably it's one of the
Yeah.
more critically acclaimed Star Wars projects.
Star Wars cares too much about what the internet thinks of Star Wars.
I
And
agree with
you
that.
see that reflected on screen where it can't be its own thing. It's got to try to appease to a segment of the internet population that's angry and, will never stop being angry potentially about Star Wars. So just hopefully they can get back on path. Hopefully they create a cinematic adventure that we can all get behind that feels like it leaves a lot of the other narratives that we deal with in the real political space behind. By the way, speaking of Dune Part 2, Josh Brolin has come out and says he'll quit acting if
Ooh.
Denis Villeneuve does not get a Best Director Oscar nomination for Dune 2. He was snubbed for the first movie, saying, quote, if the Academy Awards have any meaning whatsoever, they'll recognize him. I don't think you can look, I'm not a Dune fan, but I don't think you can look at Dune Part 2 and the cinematic achievement that is that film and not give Denis a Best Director nom. He deserves to be in that short list of 5. And if it takes leaving a Ridley Scott out because they want to give him a
It's
Lifetime
fine.
Achievement Award,
That's fine. Ridley Scott just wasted a bunch of money, and I like Gladiator 2. It was good. It's no Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
It's not
Tell
even
'em.
close.
and Denny didn't even get nominated for the first Dune. So
What a
they got to make it
travesty.
right here and put him in the list of those 5. And how he's not a front runner based on what we've seen on
Yeah.
screen this year, I don't know. But it feels like it's the sci-fi fantasy genre that maybe right now is not in the liking of the Academy for some reason. And maybe he's kneecapped by the genre itself as much as anything. So we'll see. But Dune Part 2 continues to remain a part of the conversation. It needs to get a re-release
It
here
does.
going into award season, and I know that you'll be front and center
Absolutely.
going to see it for a 7th time this year. All right, that is going to do it here for us on the Meltdown. Plenty of hot takes there from the panel, and we hope to see Star Wars get back on track. And the Skeleton Crew, it premieres tonight on Disney Plus with its 2-episode premiere. We'll continue to see how everyone reacts to that. Another place online that you need to be spending some time is MyBookie.ag, our title sponsor. At MyBookie.ag, you can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Plenty of opportunities to cash out and win or let it ride at MyBookie. Join the MyBookie family for daily odds boosts, same game parlays, and super contests. Make sure you use promo code NEXTROUND. That's going to enhance your experience for sure there in that live casino at mybookie.ag, where you can bet and play absolutely anything, anytime, anywhere. For Tyler and EG, I'm Tim. We'll see you again tomorrow here, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you check out our best films of December potential list based on our expectations for them. You're going to want to see how that countdown goes right here on the Meltdown.